Oh, hello. I did not think for sure that I was going to make it on here live tonight. I have been editing all day, so I am sorry for being late. I don't even know if anybody's going to show up. Usually I start at like 9:15. Luckily, I didn't actually schedule it out, so I at least had the decency to not schedule things before, before they. Let me check my mic really good. I at least had the decency not to schedule it and be late. I just decided, okay, well, if I get to make it, I'm just going to go live, no warning. So a lot of people may or may not show up, but a lot of people seem to watch this after the fact, more people than watch it live. I hope some people come in live though, because it does make for a more engaging live conversation. This week we have even more rumors about the Canon R5 Mark II. There's some pretty big, if true, interesting rumors. Like I said, I think these are fairly unsubstantiated at this point, but I'm excited. Like I said, if this is true, I'm very excited about it. Also, Fujifilm released the GFX 100 Mark II, which looks pretty incredible for a medium format camera. And it's not necessarily probably going to be the camera for me or maybe for a lot of people, but it does make me excited about the future of Fujifilm with medium format sensors. And finally, Blackmagic released a new cinema camera, like a pocket cinema camera. It's a full frame 6K. And so far, from what I'm seeing, it does look fairly impressive. I have not seen, like, if does it have autofocus this time around. Before, I don't really think it does, and that's a slight disappointment because I think autofocus is such a big thing at this point. But who knows? We will see. First, starting off here, we're just going to go through the rumor sites and kind of hit them together as we see them. If you are here and you're watching, hit that like button, get this out to more people. Let's go ahead and go over to starting out. Let's see if we get lucky. Refresh canonrumors.com. Okay, so right here, this is interesting because this may be substantiating something that we saw later. I kind of want to click on that and save that for the main story. So let's put a pause on that one. The latest patent suggests that Canon will be bringing active cooling grip to the ES-R cameras. So this is really interesting, and I think a really good idea here. Canon has released 2 patent applications going into detail about using. Can I stop this ad? It's annoying. Going into detail about using a grip as active cooling device for overworked and overheated cameras. I've long thought that Canon could do a lot more from grips than add a few batteries and call it a day. Cooling certainly fits the mold of expanding functionality via accessory grip. Using the accessory grip to provide active cooling allows the base camera to still be light and small for still photographers, but adding a grip that it then allows for active cooling for video shooters that usually aren't as concerned about size and weight. This is actually one of the problems that I've noticed with that Canon has always grappled in the past, which way the ability to add cooling to the cameras but maintain lighter size and weight. Given how many mirrorless users used to complain about the extreme weight of DSLRs and how they couldn't lift the boat anchors, dinosaurs, ancient DSLR cameras, maybe there is some actual truth to that concern. Now that I think about it, I happily traded my DSLR for ESMs, so I guess I am one of those users too. Having read Canon patents for the past too many years, Canon obsesses over every last millimeter of the dimensions of a camera. The same level of concern is given to the weight of the camera. You and I may not think it's important, but Canon said, okay. Especially deals with how to place as large of a fan possible into the grip while keeping the vibration and noise to a minimum and moving as much air as possible into the camera despite having as much heat as possible at this dispensing in us. Okay. As Canon writes, it is possible to provide a small size cooling device that can efficiently send cooling air into electronic equipment using a fan. So this is kind of like their version of, I mean, they're doing it in a body grip. I mean, that's super cool. That's kind of like what Fuji was doing. But I kind of like this way of doing it better, because the way Fuji had to do it, they had to basically have your screen flipped out at, I think, all times in order to accommodate for the fan. So this seems like it's kind of a, I don't know, a better design in my opinion. I also like the idea that if you are shooting, you know, for example, if the R5 Mark II does come out, it has 8K 60, then you're going to need even more juice. It's probably going to eat up the battery. So for it to be able to have a fan and give the camera extra juice is a good thing, I believe. I'm assuming that they're going to add batteries to this, but maybe I should see that first. But I think this means that we'll add another battery along with the fan, but maybe not. Oh yeah, okay. So you at least get one battery here, it looks like, but do you get the extra battery, or is this just a, it's because sometimes you get a battery here and a battery here. So I'd be curious to see how they go about it. But I mean, I think it's a good solution. I think it makes a lot of sense. I also think I hate to do this again. So this is the Canon R5 C. Let's go ahead and go back to the main screen here. So this is the R5 C, and it's super fat. I mean, if you look at it, it's not super practical, like, you know, for YouTubers to walk around, and that's one of the main reasons that I've kept the A7S III, is because I wind up just using the A7S III more than I would use this. And I was just noticing, I've been editing a video. Usually I have the 15 and 35 on it, but I've been editing a video and I used both footage from the A7S III and from this camera. And of course, a lot of it could be down to lenses, but just some of the footage you get out of this, that downsampled 4K to 8K, especially at, like, you know, landscapes and different temples and, you know, architecture and stuff, like, it's just beautiful. And I love the colors that come out of it. I don't know. I find the footage super pleasing. So I love this camera for that purpose, but, you know, I wish that I could make this a more, it's not fitting into my work as much as I would like it to, and I'll find myself just using the A7S III like 90% of the time. And now it's kind of balanced well, so it's not super heavy, it's just fat. And if I'm carrying this around, I actually had that issue. I took this with me inside of a it's called Landmark 81. It's like Vietnam's tallest building. I took it inside, and instantly they were like, "Hey, you can't have that in here." And I like made up something, but I was like, yeah, you can. If you're a tourist and doing it for YouTube, you can. I did look it up later, and that actually is like a thing, because they want more tourists and stuff. But I mean, they probably, if they would have really pressed it, but I just made myself sound super confident and got away with it. But yeah, they let me go through with it, but I do feel like this is just, it's not, it's a little bit too, you know, in your face, inconspicuous, or conspicuous, maybe. Inconspicuous is the one where, yeah. Anyways, but it's just a little too much. People can see it. This would be a better solution to me, because, you know, you could have it there for when you want it, but you could just take it off and use it, you know, as a smaller camera. So I'm definitely interested, and I think that this is kind of pointing even more so to the fact that our R5 C or R5 Mark II will be coming sooner rather than later. And that might be a camera that I wind up getting rid of this for, even though, you know, I like the idea of this camera more than I think I like the idea of this camera more than I actually use it. And I think if I had a regular R5 or R5 Mark II, I wouldn't trade this for an R5 at this point, because I like the dynamic range and stuff. But the R5 Mark II, I think, will just be a more practical camera for myself, and battery life will probably be better. All right, let me go back here to the chat, see if there is anybody here. Like, I don't even think there's anybody watching because I started so late, but hopefully people are watching after the fact. If you are watching after the fact and you're liking this video, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? No, if you haven't subscribed yet, do so. It really helps out the channel. It really helps me out. I'm trying to make this more of like a live topical type channel because it's, I'm just juggling a few different things with work and building the travel channel as well. But I hope everybody's enjoying it still, and I hope they find this enjoyable. I would like to be better at what I'm doing, and I hope that one day I will get better at what I'm doing. But I hope so far everybody's enjoying what I do. Okay, let me go ahead and go back here. Let me go to the chat just to be sure, but I don't think there is anybody in the chat. So I think that's left over. That's interesting because that's showing up on the screen. I'm not sure if it, I guess it is showing up on everybody else's screen. That's like, I don't know how to get rid of it. That was from last week, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I don't know. Apologize about that. Hopefully it will go away if we start getting more comments, maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, let me go ahead and reshare the screen here. Go back to Canon Rumors, see what else we got before we talk about our main story. Patent 56 1.2. I don't really care, but I'm sure some people do. Because don't you already have a 50 1.2? Like, I don't know. To me, that's just a little bit redundant. I mean, the 55 and 56, is it that much different from a 50? Maybe maybe I just don't have the experience with that lens. But yeah. We talked slightly about this last week, so I'll go ahead and I'll touch on it when I go to Sony Alpha Rumors. I'll go ahead and go over to the Blackmagic Design. It announces the full frame cinema camera 6K and joins the L Mount Alliance. I haven't seen too many reviews for it. I think I watched like one main one. There really wasn't as many reviews as I thought there would be. But I mean, I guess that's okay. From what I heard, people are really liking it. I don't see it being a camera for me just because it is trying to be more of a cinema camera with not even putting any kind of autofocus in it. And I think, with what Canon's doing, with a lot of their cinema cameras with the, the live focus or the autofocus, I think that's just a better overall experience. At least it would be for me. Now, I'm sure you can get incredible footage out of this. As a whole, I like Blackmagic. I'm using DaVinci Resolve at this point, so I'm sure it would go really well. This will shoot 6K will shoot 36 frames per second open gate, or 60 with I guess the normal ratios. DCI. So I'm confused. I need to check out what open gate is. It's 3x2, but so I thought this camera would have open gate, but it doesn't. It has DCI. But I would like to see if it does. Like I maybe have to just check the stuff better. It can also shoot up to 100 frames per second in Super 16. So yeah, I wish I would have went to at least Super 35 on that at least. Built CF Express recorder, SSD. Nothing is jumping out to me, but from what I heard on the experience of this camera, people are really digging it. So just maybe drop in the comment section below and let me know, is this a camera that's possibly for you? What reviews have you seen of it? I guess I feel like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema K, the ones that were Super 35, they felt like they were super ahead of their time in some ways and really blew almost everything out of the water as far as image quality goes in that price range. So from just reading the pure specs, to me, it doesn't sound like it's super amazing, but maybe I'm just missing some stuff. I do love this HDR 1500 nit screen. Every camera should have a screen like that. I mean, and it has, you know, a detachable EVF, it looks like. And so I don't know. I do like it. I just don't know if it's like the generational leap that I would hope that they would have. I think that the other camera was about 4 years ago or more. So I think I would like to see more out of it, but it is what it is, and you know, decent enough. Let me go back here and see. Let's go here. Go ahead and go to Sony Alpha Rumors. We talked a little bit about not that. We talked a little bit about this camera last week and speculated. Where's it at? It's down here somewhere. Yeah, the Sony Burvano 8.6K product. So this is basically a mini Venice camera. Um, it's cool. It's a lot of dynamic range, but it's, you know, $25,000. It's just out of a normal people's price range. I'm sure it's great for what it does, but it's nowhere near where most people would be even close to affording this camera. But I do think it's, you know, if you're the type of people who have to have the Venice, then this is going to be like a great B cam for a Venice, and it's supposed to be very fast on the readout speed. So I think that that's kind of like its big draw, is how fast it is with the very minimal rolling shutter, supposedly, I believe. So I didn't really look at any reviews of it just because I saw the price tag and I was like, oh, that's not for me. But I was hoping that this would be something that would maybe come in like FX6 type pricing, but I think that was a lot of wishful thinking and on my part. So anyways, it looks good for who it's for, I'm sure. But it's not for me. You know, probably not for the vast majority of us. But yeah, I think it's cool what they're pushing, and maybe this bodes well for like a future FX3 or Mark II or FX6 Mark II, because a lot of times, you know, it's just a matter of time for a lot of this tech to move over. Was there anything else Sony big? I don't remember anything else Sony coming. I think Sony had their big week a couple weeks ago when they announced the A7C Mark II and the A7R, A7CR. Let's go ahead, go over quickly to Nikon. I don't think Nikon had anything big that I'm aware of, so I think it's gonna be quick on the Nikon. 85 went tested. Currently, their highest ranking lens. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be a good lens. It's Nikon. All right, I'm not seeing big Nikon rumors or news. Now this could be like a main story in its own. I honestly thought about doing it. I think I talked. Yeah, I already talked a little bit about this camera, but yeah, 21% better autofocus tracking. The GFX, then the GFX 100 Mark II. I mean, for what it is, I think it's really smart. 8 frames per second is really good. 8 frames per second raw, especially for a medium format. That's really fast. And if the autofocus is decent, like, is it really good, or is it, you know, kind of like a bare minimum? Is it Fujifilm good, or is it like Canon good or close to Canon good? If it's really gotten that much better, and it's that much faster, then I think it's starting to be in the range that could be practical for a lot of people. Now, I'm a little bit confused. It shoots 4K 60 from what I saw, uh, but like, it's a 100 megapixel sensor. So I guess my question uh, is it doing like a lot of pixel binning? And if so, is it really high quality pixel binning? Or am I just off because of the aspect ratio? Does that change anything up? But 100 megapixels, I mean, that would be like a lot of Ks. I think it would be like 16K or something like that if they were really using the full thing. So they're not using the full thing. But they are saying full width at 4K 60. So they have to be using some kind of pixel binning to like merge those together, I would assume. Some companies can do it really well. Sony seems to do it really well. Other companies have not done it so great. It's a lot softer image. So yeah. Let me go ahead and quickly go over to this. This is our main story, and I think there's a lot of seeing this and then seeing what Canon Rumors, literally just seeing that patent from Canon Rumors, I think that's pretty good. So let's check the comments here. It doesn't look like many people are commenting right now. That's okay. A lot of times people just rather listen. If you are here listening, hit that thumbs up. Get this out to more people. I very much appreciate it. Very helps out the channel. Let me go ahead. We're going to go to the main story because it's let's just run through it. I started super late, so let's go ahead and get to it. So our main story, our main topic of today is coming to us via the Camera Insider, as well as some collaborating. Am I saying that right? As well as some possible evidence that it's also coming to us from Canon Rumors that maybe makes this true. And if so, I'm very excited about it. But let me go ahead and share my screen here. It looks like the Canon R5 Mark II may be coming with built-in ND filters. If this is true, I'm like super excited by it. The Canon R5 will surely be the most popular Canon camera release of 2024, and it will be bringing new features and accessories. It is now said that the Canon R5 Mark II will have built-in ND filter, which is one of the most requested features that people would like to see in a Canon EOS R body. The Canon EOS R5 Mark II will obviously get the latest flash shoe, but we'll also heard that there will be new accessories for the camera, one of which will be to deal with heat when shooting video and working in warmer environments. So that, I'm guessing, is that the fan that I was talking about it before. Essentially, there is a possible battery grip that will have a fan at the bottom, which to me is brilliant. Could we see some kind of external cooler from Canon? Perhaps not, like the other companies haven't done the same. One thing that was the benefit of having the grip that was a cooling fan is that you're not going to have to always have your screen out. So I think that would be a cool thing, or a good thing. Could we get some kind of external cooler? Okay. When we first published this story, there was no validation, but Canon Rumors presented 5 patents filings that show they have been working on ND filters for a series of bodies as well as a 5 series. While patents applications does not confirm the R5 Mark II or the R1 will have internal ND filters, the drawings to show they have designed a rail system to fit a 1 series camera. The level of planning and number of patents indicate that internal ND filters is something we could expect, and with all the talk of the EOS R1 being the master of everything, the future would add to that persona. Canon has 5 patent applications reference internal NDs. Super exciting. Now, would this be in the R5? I guess that's the other thing. Would this be in the R5, or would they hold this thing out for the R1? Because if the rumors are true about this R5, I don't know how much further they could push the R1 to make it that much better. I mean, I guess it could have a different sensor with better dynamic range. It could have, obviously dual CF Express cards. It'll be that pro body. But I don't know. I guess my point is the R5 Mark II is shaping up. If any of these rumors are true, it's shaping up to be pretty incredible. So I don't know. I'm very excited about it. The other week we heard from Canon Rumors. They're showing the application here, and they already kind of talked about it being validated. But some of the specs that they were showing, I don't know how far back it is, but I mean, some of the specs that they were showing, essentially, it's 62 megapixel sensor. It was going to have 8K 60, and the one thing that for a while I've been flagging 8K 60 as a not possible, or not necessarily not possible, but I was saying that if they were going to do it, then they needed to have this battery have another update, because this does not have enough juice to function properly. Like it literally will not function at 8K 60 fully. Without like an external power, like your lenses and stuff will not work on this when it's at 8K 60. So if they were going to do that in the R5 Mark II, I don't think that they would do the janky option, to be quite honest. I think they allowed people to do that with the R5 C because a lot of people thought, they probably thought a lot of people would kit it out. But with the Canon with the R5 Mark II, if they were going to do 8K60, I didn't see that being a viable option. So it sounds like they are going to have some new version of the battery, or at least that's part of the rumors. 8K60, of course, it's going to be fast. The question is if it's 62 megapixels, is it going to be downsampling from 62 megapixels? Is it going to be like 8K60 downsampled from 12K? It would be pretty incredible if that is even possible. I guess that puts it at, I think the 4K 120 would still have to be some kind of, probably a little bit soft in the pixel binning, but I guess my only thing that would hold me back, if it had internal NDs, I don't know if anything would hold me back. But I guess the biggest thing that I would not love is that wobble gate that happened. If they could like cure that, it would be like almost the perfect camera. Because the R5 barely even overheats at this point. So I don't know. I would probably just straight up sell this camera and get it. I'd hope that I could get similar value out of it though. I mean, I've enjoyed this camera, but I just haven't used it enough. I love the image quality, but there's just too many compromises. And the cinema, to be real, the cinema functions that I thought I would really like about it, wanting to use like the cinema menus and stuff, it's part of the reason why the battery sucks. And it's also just it's too small for this screen. It feels like to me. So it feels like you're messing up, even though it has a good touch screen. It's just not there. So yeah, that would probably be my next camera if it comes out in any reasonable time period. I think I'm heading back to Vietnam sometime early next year, or that's the plan, the hope. So I don't think I would even be able to get it. But I it depends on when it comes out. Yeah. So drop in the comment section below. Let me know. I mean, is this camera exciting to you? Does internal NDs like change everything like it does for me? If you're not aware of what internal NDs do, then you probably went over your head a little bit. But essentially, you would not have to have an ND filter like on the outside. It would be perfect. It would be like the perfect travel camera. Just to be able to have internal NDs is essentially a button away from giving you the shot that you need and being able to stay in its native ISO. So it would blow me away. I'm very excited to hear more about this camera, but drop in the comment section below and let me know, are you excited by it like I am? Is this going to be your next camera, or do you think that this is maybe none of this is even true and this is not even a possibility? Let me know all that in the comment section below. All right, let me go here back to the comments and see. Hey, what's up? Daniel Patrick says, new news shooter had an article on a Panasonic internal ND filter a couple of weeks ago. Curious who puts it onto the market first. So yeah, that is interesting, because I could see them for sure having that in the S1H Mark II. So that's what I would think. That would be cool if they do that as well. I don't know. I mean, I think Panasonic in so many ways, especially has a phase detect autofocus. I mean, that could be like the best camera on the market, because the original would have been the best camera on the market as far as like the mirrorless goes in that price range, but it didn't have phase detect and it just didn't work out. So I don't know. There is that option, but I do already have some Canon lenses, so I don't know. And I doubt that the autofocus is going to be quite with Canon yet. But I don't know. That will be a tough call, because for a long time I said if anybody was going to pull me from Sony, it would be Panasonic. So if I was going to duel it, I could maybe go Canon and Panasonic and get rid of my Sony stuff. I don't know. Sony is amazing when they come out with new stuff, but then it's like they come out with new stuff and then they just use the same crap in their stuff for 4 years, and then they come out with something else and you're like, oh, this is amazing, and they don't even like backward compat stuff. So like the A7S III has basically it's the same camera it was when it launched. Like I think 5 months later they updated it with S Cinetone, which was great. Kept it in the same line with the FX3 forever, and then like a year ago they diverged them substantially and they never updated the A7S III. So I don't know. It was very disappointing, and I still love my Sony camera. I still use it the most. I'm using it right now, so it's hard for me to say I'd just give it up. But I don't know. Panasonic would make me do that, and if I had the R5 Mark II, I don't know if I would even need it. So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. It's 10:15. I started late, and hopefully next week I will be more back on schedule. That is the hope. It's always the hope. But I just kind of threw it on spur of the moment. I appreciate everybody that showed up. I appreciate Daniel sending in that comment. Sorry I'm not going to be on here as long tonight, but if you did like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. It'll get it out to more people. It helps out. If you haven't subscribed, do all that. Just let me know in the comment section below, just in general, on all the stories, what's excited you the most about everything that we talked about here today, or did I miss some stuff? Drop in the comments and let me know all that. I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. It's 10:15 and my son needs to come to bed. But until next time, peace.